Introducing a whole new way to save from Xfinity. Get Xfinity Internet with unlimited data, Wi-Fi equipment, and a free streaming box included with a 2-year rate guarantee and no contract. All for just $30 per month when you add an Xfinity mobile plan. Switch today.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC, and we're kicking off the Suburban Blue Conference Virtual Media Day, and we start alphabetically, and that is Excelsior Springs, the brand new member of the league, and we joined by Coach Mark Fabian. And Coach, you guys lead the MRVC West, probably in the last 5 years, maybe the best the MRVC West has ever been. So you're going from one really good conference to another good conference. Platte County, you're kind of taking Platte County space, so that's a team that you're very familiar with over the last few years, playing them in the postseason. How exciting is it for you guys, and daunting at the same time, just making that move?
Well, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun playing new teams and getting to see new styles, and that'll all be a pretty good show, I think. Leaving the MRVC, everybody got to know each other so intimately there. A lot of those coaches have been there for so long, and we've been there quite a while, so we got pretty comfortable knowing with what each other does and what you're looking forward to seeing, and that'll be something that us coming in, finding out what some of the new coaches, what their styles are, what are their go-to things, what are their fixes. That'll be stuff that we have to figure out and find out on the fly. And it'll be a work week every week, just because we don't have that intimacy with the staffs in the Suburban. It'll be fun. Now there's some great schools, and we're leaving a great conference, like you said, just like I thought, loaded with talent and great coaching, and we'll be entering the big time there in the Suburban, and we look forward to it.
Well, it's kind of funny. You've seen, Kearney and Smithville; those are teams that have been in your district for years. But then you look at like Kearney, and they've got a new coach in Logan Minnick, so there's some changes that are going to happen there. So there's some going to be a lot of new stuff. Tell me this: how has your summer been? How are the guys doing, and what's been exciting?
What's exciting for us is we got a good core of kids back that have played for a couple of years. Our offensive line and our quarterback they've had really good summers. There have been guys that we've lived on for the last couple of years. We've got almost our entire offensive line back. We're not very big. When we get off the bus, you might not know where that might not be a fullback. That might be an offensive guard. But we have little tough guys, and we play hard, and we know our system pretty well, and it'll help us tremendously. Our summer, we've really pushed the kids harder, I think, this year, mainly because we have that group back. We haven't had to take as much time doing live football things with other teams. We did a couple of times, but we're able to just work on getting stronger and faster and better shape, and kind of taking our system to the next level, I think, with a few things that might be a new wrinkle for people. But just we're able to really push forward this summer because of that continuity in our front and our QB.
Well, Chance Moreland, your QB, is back. I remember when these guys were sophomores, starting a few years back, and you guys took some lumps against good Odessa, a good center, and a Harrisonville team that's always good. They have to feel like, hey, our time's now.
Yes, absolutely, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to. That year, I think we started 8 sophomores that year, and that was the COVID year too. So it was such a wild thing with a bunch of young guys. But last year they really proved themselves, playing very, very well. And this year, this is like you said, this is their time. And I really feel like it's a good core of guys.
Well, tell me this: is there one position group that's taken a big step forward for you this offseason?
It has to be our offensive line. I mean, those guys have all played. They've taken so many snaps. I feel like we could. There's some of these new things that we're doing for them really is going to push them forward in what they can do. It's going to give us more options on the fly with being able to audible and find differences in fronts and find weaknesses that it's tough to do with guys that played for a year. These guys are seasoned veterans of the VEER system, and they're able now to look at weaknesses. Our QB is able to see them and say, hey, this is where we need to attack. So that'll be those guys up front will be our step forward.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Dion Closso with Preps KC as we continue our virtual media days here in the Suburban Blue Conference. And for a long time, Grandview was always alphabetically the first one, but Excelsior Springs has moved in. So our second interview is with Grandview coach Dan Joyner. And Coach, your first full off season as head coach at Grandview. And I everybody talked to, that second off season, that second summer is always better than the first. I'm assuming this year's just been a night and day compared to last year.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. As far as, the first year, it's always exciting because everything's new and you're kind of implementing and installing what you're looking at and what you want the culture to be. But you're exactly right. The second year has been amazing for us. The understanding of what the expectations are, what we expect, what our practices look like, and, the development piece, to see it come a year into fruition, we're really excited about where we're at and how much we progress in that year time.
How's the summer been in terms of is there one group or side of the ball that's really taking a big step forward for you?
I'd say realistically, probably both sides of the ball up front, offensive, defensive line. We kind of made that and stressed the emphasis of that at the end of the season after we did our analyzations when we looked at stuff. And that was one thing we really strived that we want to get bigger, we want to get stronger. We really need to get better and more physical up front. And throughout the summer, we emphasized it. And, throughout scrimmages and seeing other teams, that was definitely something that struck home as the improvement we had up front, both sides.
Well, I know a school like Grandview, it's not, you probably don't have a lack of receivers and running backs and things like that. And we know the legacy of the track program there with all kinds of sprinters and speed. Is that going to be a big difference maker for you guys this year? Just the ability to compete up there on the line?
100%. So the ability to, we really want to not be one-sided on either, as far as we want to be able to mix it up, not be one-dimensional, and the ability to, have a quarterback and distribute to athletes for linemen that can protect from an offensive standpoint. That's going to help us immensely with, we're going to be a hard team to scheme this year because, like you said, when you emphasize speed, we have speed at all triangles. We have it on both outsides. We got it in slot. We got it in the backfield. So it's really exciting to see how it's going to come together.
What do you like about this year's team specifically in terms of what they've shown you?
I would say the work ethic and determination. We checked out about 116 shoulder pads and helmets and stuff, which was a huge improvement from last year. I think that's looking at 40, 45 improvements. So I would say just the way that kids conduct themselves as far as practice goes, every time that we had something, whether it be a practice, a weight session, to be 90 plus and to see that leadership. And, the first year, it always seems like the coaches are the ones that are really pushing leadership, and to see some of these older guys step up into big roles and to really start recruiting and helping the program. And, when somebody messes up or do something, to see an older kid be able to get to it before even coach has to. So just how much we've grown and how much our culture is changing and stepping in the right direction, that'd be the biggest thing from the offseason.
Well, we talked about a little before we started recording, just recruiting the halls. I mean, and getting those kids out that maybe haven't done football, and it's something that everybody talks about, getting kids not to leave. I mean, there's kids that move around, and that's the thing that's got to be a big thing for you, having a full year in the building.
And from a standpoint for us, we now have 8 coaches that are in the high school. So it's not only just 1 or 2 coaches, but, kids are the best recruiters. So when you start doing things right and kids start seeing it and they start getting excited, they're going to see a coach occasionally once in a hallway or maybe have in class. But when you start having peers actually recruiting for your program because they believe in it, that goes tenfold. And that has a lot to do with the assistant coaches I brought in that have been recruiting the hallways, and also, the kids really buying into what we're doing and recruiting and help us get those numbers where they need to be.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC as we move through the virtual media day for the Suburban Blue Conference. We move over to Kearney, who has a familiar face as a Kearney assistant coach. He's been a head coach at Raytown the last few years. Now comes back to Kearney, Logan Minnick. And Coach, this is a kind of a little bit of a homecoming from you to go from Raytown to Kearney, and I know it's exciting for you. And Kearney loves its football, and it's a great place to be. And I'm sure the offseason has just been fantastic for you.
Yeah, we've had a great offseason. Like I said, the community was very excited to have me back over here. I was glad to be back up here and become part of it again. And there's definitely a lot of excitement from the community. There's also with that a lot of expectation. I think everybody I've seen anywhere and everywhere, expects, miracles right out the gate. But there's definitely some excitement, and we've had a great offseason.
What's been like this summer? I know you've been on staff, and you said there's a lot of guys still there. So was there not too much change, but just getting the guys kind of used to you again? Because there was a whole group of kids that all went through that don't know you from before.
Right. Yeah. That's there's still a lot of Greg Jones footprint stuff here that was intact. Josh did a good job. Like our majority of our weights program and stuff is all almost identical to what I had here in the past. And that's, some of the stuff we were doing at Raytown as well. So that transition and kind of the conditioning aspect of it has been great. It's great. It's good to have, that stuff here already rolling. And then just staff, we've got a bunch of guys that were here prior that I worked with before. Obviously a little different, being on top instead of one of the lower guys on the totem pole, but the transition has been good with that, just having relationships. And we try to keep, I don't think we've got 2 or 3 different coaches from last year. So we've got a good group that the kids really have a relationship with and bought into.
What's been the biggest surprise in a good way out of these kids this summer?
To be honest, and I told you before, I was a little nervous coming up here thinking, a couple seasons around that 500 mark and thinking maybe kids weren't quite what we'd had when I was here prior. But we've got a really good group of seniors and a really good junior class. So I think the good thing was getting up here, having a little bit of talent to work with. So hopefully we can get that molded into some wins.
Well, as you finish up your summer, what kind of things will you focus on in those 3 weeks? I know most fans know that this isn't you show up on August 8th, do your 2-a-days and go. You've been doing stuff all summer long, but what kind of things do you focus in those 3 weeks basically to get ready for that first game on August 26th?
I think conditioning first and foremost that we've done all summer is getting our kids ready to play. I know we talked about our first 3 games with Platte County, Fort Osage, Smithville. We better have our bodies physically ready because that's a gauntlet to start the year. And then I think you just try to get your kids mentally prepared for, that kind of an opening to a season. And then we've just got to get everything down with, new offense, new defense. So working out little kinks. I think we've got a bunch of that in. I think we kind of are still trying to find our identity a little bit. We've experimented here and there throughout the summer. And I think just narrowing that down and making it easier on our kids, offensively, defensively, and then obviously hammering the special teams.
Have you guys stressed that there was a time that anybody who got to Kearney as a visitor and got a win, it was like a special thing for that team? That's kind of rolls into the other part of the question. Will it have really sunk into you that you are the head coach at Kearney until that first night at home, the home game, not a road game,
Right.
The home game,
Yep.
That first night when you're on the sidelines, because that's one of the best game day atmospheres in all of Kansas City.
Yeah, for sure. As we said, the community here, they breathe football. So coming out, and of course, our first home game and my first game here as head coach will be with Smithville coming to town. So not only will it be the first game here and the crowd will be fired up, but those guys up there have got it rolling right now, and everyone in town has told me that's the one team I need to beat. I'm like, great. No tall task there or anything, but no, it'll be exciting. I think there'll definitely be some butterflies, and it's a lot different walking through the gate first than towards the back with the other kids. So we'll have them ready to play.
Well, it's one thing I will give hats off to the Suburban Conference. When they did their scheduling and Platte County moved up a division, leaving Smithville and Kearney in the blue and them in the white, they made sure that everybody was still playing up here, because I don't know if you could take those games away from those three schools.
No, I don't think so. And the Highway 92 rivalry is alive up here for sure.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the coverage.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC. We're talking with Raytown South coach William Harris. And Coach, your second season back at your alma mater, but really your first full off season. And that's all. I always enjoy talking to coaches who've gone through the first year at a new job, or if they're their first year head coach going in their second year. How important is that just full off season in the building for a full year, a full summer? How important is that? And how much further ahead do you feel now than you did this time last year?
It means a whole lot. It's really important. Not only getting used to football and your football kids, but building culture, building expectations, and kind of figuring out how to navigate an off season is really important. And so being in the building for a whole year and being able to come to this off season with those understandings, it helps the off season flow a lot better. It helps it go a lot better.
How have your numbers been this year?
Numbers have been pretty good. Places we've showed up for scrimmages and practices and things like that. That's one of the things guys always say when we go to 7-on-7, like, man, your numbers look really good. So I've been pleased with where we've been this summer. Like I said, compared to last summer, coming off COVID and guys in and out because they didn't get information or they didn't have schedules, it's been a lot better, and it's really been promising this summer.
As you've worked this summer, is there one position group or one side of the ball that's really taken a big step forward?
I think our quarterback and our offense has really improved from last year. We lost some key pieces at wide receiver as far as older guys, experienced guys. But I think, again, being a year in the system and being able to understand terminology and kind of how things go has really helped us offensively to kind of be a little bit more cohesive than we were last year, installing a new offense at this time.
Well, that was right to my next question. You feel like this time, as opposed to this time last year, you got your installs in, and then when you're getting ready to pause now, we're right here at the end of the summer session. You're going to pause for a little bit and then come back in a week. You feel like you're going to be able to hit the ground running?
Yeah, we definitely should. I mean, our attendance has been really good. So when we come back in August, you always get some kids who just come out who didn't know anything about the summer or decide they want to play late. I think those guys will add depth, but it won't be a deal where we're dependent on those guys and we're teaching them things that we've been doing all summer. I think the guys that have been here all summer have our schemes down, and it's just going to be a polishing type period once we get to August 8th and we start rolling, and guys will be able to perfect things that they've already learned over the summer.
Schedule wise, it's pretty similar to what you've been, but Platte County moves out, they go up, and Excelsior Springs comes into the conference, and that's a team that's going to show you a little different look with the veer. And so that's kind of a nice little added difference that a lot of suburban schools won't see.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's never a bad thing for us to lose Platte County. But when you gain Excelsior Springs, who's a really good program, and they do some things differently offensively, that'll be a challenge for us. So we're looking forward to our new schedule and the change. There's a couple, 2 or 3 new teams on there. So it'll be a good switch up for us, and hopefully we can get used to the schedule and kind of get that thing rolling against those new teams and the teams that we've had in our conference for a while.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
All right. Thank you, Dion. Thanks for having me on.
Dion Clisso here with Preps KC, and we're continuing our virtual media day, and we move through the Suburban Blue Conference and bring in Ruskin coach William Perkins. And coach, we were talking before we got started, your 8th year at Ruskin, which is consistency that Ruskin hadn't seen for a long time. And you've really seen that program grow. And one of the things I caught on the information sheet that we put out, your numbers are way up, and that's got to make you feel fantastic that you've got so many kids out that are into football.
Yeah, it does. Except in the 8 years I've been here, it's been one of our challenges, and still we're not where we want to be. We don't have the numbers that some of our competitors do, but right now we had an issue with we don't have enough helmets, so it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have, and so we're excited. Like I said, we're excited about the season, and we're excited about the numbers that are up, and we're still getting parents calling. I think we had maybe 4 or 5 parents call yesterday and ask, hey, when is the first day of fall practice? And so right now, I think we're at 70 kids, and I think we'll end up probably around 80 or 90 kids this year, which has never happened in the time that I've been at wrestling.
Well, in the summer, and you're probably just the numbers you can do in the summer, that just opens the things you can do in the summertime, doesn't it?
It does. It helps in being able to practice and schedule things that we want to do, being able to get the type of reps that we want to get in. And so it's helped us a lot in being able to accomplish some things that in the past we haven't been able to do. And so it's helpful. And it's like I said, and for us, the kids that are there are really good kids. This is a group that, we talk about every night as coaches after practice, like, man, this is a good group of kids. We just love being around these kids. And so we're excited.
Well, tell me this, is there one group that's really taking a big step forward this summer?
I don't know if I can't say that. Our defensive backs, I am proud of those guys, and we've challenged them this year to really step up and do some things that they haven't done before. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it pans out once the season starts. But we got some experienced guys back in the defensive back area, and we got a couple of young guys who are young, but they're in 7-on-7s. Those guys really attack that well and were aggressive. And so we kind of heard from the other coaches is, hey, I love what you guys are doing back there with your defensive backs. And so hopefully it pans out come Friday night.
In my years, I feel like that's the hardest position in high school to be good at. I think it is. Yeah. It's tough. It's a hard position to be good at any level of football in high school, because it seems like the offense, there's always plenty of guys on offense who run all kinds of stuff. And it's so tough to coach that, having guys with experience back there. I can remember a Rockers team that won a state title back in 2010, and their defensive backfield was the difference for them. That's how they beat Hazelwood Central. And because when it's played well, it really really shows. And that's a tough spot. When you look at this team, I know you said that you're going to need to build some depth on the offensive line. How is that group coming along?
Coming along slowly, but we've kind of identified some guys we think are going to help us there. This has been a strange season for us. We had a lot of guys who played baseball this summer, and so some of those guys didn't get to participate in some of the things that we were doing throughout the summer. And so this week we've seen some of those kids show up this week, and it kind of piqued our interest a little bit that, hey, maybe this kid can play here, or we can move a kid here from there. And so I think they're going to be a good group, but that's still our area of concern is our offensive line.
Well, and that's another thing to say how the Ruskin program has grown. You've got kids who are playing other sports in the summertime and doing things. And I think that says a lot about what they're the multi-sports. Everybody wants a multi-sports. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it does. It means a lot for us. We've got the basketball kids, a few of those basketball kids. We haven't really had baseball kids, and these are like true baseball kids who are traveling, they're out of town. And it was good. So we do have those multi-sport kids, and we encourage it. I want kids to play all sports. We have a lot of kids who wrestle. And of course, we're Ruskin, so we have those kids who run track. So you'll see those kids in the defensive backfield.
No doubt. Well, tell me this, the conference gets a little bit of a change. There's always movement. Platte County moves out, which you always want to test yourself against the best, but maybe not having to line up against a team that went to a Class 4 and a Class 5 state championship game in back-to-back years. But then you move in Excelsior Springs, which looks a little different, running the veer, a little different squad than you're used to seeing.
Right. There's never a down week in this conference, in this division either, and so you got Smithville, the defending state champion, and like you said, Platte County, who was was in the state championship game the year before. And so Excelsior Springs, I don't think is going to be that much of a difference. They come in with this big veer offense that is going to be a challenge for most teams. And so it's going to be a tough schedule. We know that. So hopefully our speed and our athleticism will help us out in what we see this year.
Well, one of the things about your squad the last few years is you've tended to play your best football at the end of the year. I mean, you've gotten better as the season's gone on. Is that, I know everybody wants to start out 4-0. There's no doubt about that. But do you feel like the guys that really understand and say, hey, it may take us a little longer sometimes, but we know we'll be better at the end?
Yeah, I think so. That's something we always tell our kids is that, hey, the goal is to every week get better. Every day get better, and every week we should see improvement. And so the great thing about the state of Missouri is that week 10, everybody starts over. And so we tell our kids that as long as we're getting better by that week 10, we should be able to compete in the state for a state playoff games. But I think this year what will be different is that we've had a lot of these kids out this summer. So hopefully those first few games don't look like the first few games we've had in the past 7 years that I've been here.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you and all that you do for Kansas City high school sports.
Dion Closo with Preps KC as we move through our virtual media day with Suburban Blue Conference and bring in Jason Ambrosen from Smithville. And Coach, you got that defending title moniker now as the defending champion. So it's a new season and a new team. And it's not like you're the Chiefs and you bring back, 47 of 53 guys or something like that. But
no,
I'm assuming a fun off season with the way your guys have competed the last few years. I'm assuming this year's group of seniors and underclassmen probably were chomping at the bit, right, ready to get back in the weight room pretty quick, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. It's been a phenomenal spring for our kids. We had a really, our last 2 years of JV have been undefeated. 18-0 with our JV kids, and we really played well. And I think we gave up on an average over that 2 year period of time, 2 points a game and scored 50 a game. And a lot of those kids were freshmen and sophomores that are now, juniors and seniors. And they're getting an opportunity to play and having back-to-back classes of kids that work really hard and are good in the weight room and seeing a lot of playing time. It's really helped us from that standpoint. And they've got something to prove. We talk about it all the time. If you got a chip on your shoulder and something to prove, you're going to have a lot of fun. And they got a lot to prove. So I'm excited for them.
Well, you graduate some really good players off that team. And I know defensively, Cody's Simoncic's the one guy everybody talks about. But you bring back Andrew Heckworth as your quarterback and some good players too. And like you talked about the JV, but also you had some games where you probably were able to get a lot of guys some second half time last year and expose some of those guys to the Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, really, we did. I think when we got the kids up on the stage after the season last year, I think we had 63 kids that lettered. That's the most I've ever had. We had a lot of kids playing, even some of our JV kids were playing 4 quarters on Monday night and then playing 2 quarters on Friday nights in a lot of games. And a lot of those kids were involved in special teams. And we try to get them involved as much as we can because they work so hard. So that's great that they get an opportunity to step on the field. And I think the thing that I enjoy the most about it, Andrew obviously coming back and being our quarterback and having his 3rd year as a starter. And obviously, he's got a lot to prove. He wasn't a first team quarterback last year, but he won state title. So this year he's got more to prove. So he's pretty hungry kid, pretty competitive. I've talked about him before, but we've got 4 offensive linemen that are new, that are all seniors that all started on the JV last year, and they've got a lot to prove. And we've got some other kids that started on the JV that were just, we got a D lineman behind Mason Krim, who's got a lot to prove, and a DN behind, and it's just, we got a bunch of kids that I think I'm proud of them because they believed in the process of showing up, doing their best, working hard, trusting in it. And now kids that didn't start last year that were juniors starting on the JV are now seniors, and they're still in the program. They didn't get worried about playing time. They didn't get worried about what was in it for them. They were in it for all of them and for the whole team. And, it's fun to have kids whose heart is full like that. They want to just come work because they love being a part of a team. And yeah, we've got some really good players coming back, and we got some really good players that are going to step in. So I'm excited to see how they grow and how they work through it and all the challenges that come their way. It's so fun to see them grow.
How's your summer been? I know there's, the new guys stepping in, like you said, those 4 offensive linemen that are, they played together. So that's good. You're not trying to,
oh yeah,
that's always good. But how's that summer process been for you guys this year?
Well, it's been great because, we lost 4 offensive linemen that all squatted 500 pounds, and we replaced them with guys that just maxed out last week that all squat over 500 pounds now. So that makes the coach feel really good. The summer's been great. We got a new weight room facility up here, which has allowed for us to really train. Just amazingly. And the kids have embraced it so much. They've loved it. And we were able, even today, it rained outside. We got our camp practice in. We came inside and got a lift in, and we were able to lift, 118 kids today at the same time, which was pretty amazing. 120 kids at the same time, which was pretty amazing. And to be able to do that and get them in to get some work done and then get them out, they've really enjoyed that standpoint of it, of not having to split a lot of things up. And then at the same time, when we've been doing conditioning all summer, we used to have a lift group and a run group and then switch them and stuff. And now we have a lift group and then everybody runs together, and it's created so much more competition. We've been able to break things into different groups and really challenge our kids based on a lot of the things that we record. And we've always prided ourselves in doing things a little bit different, but really being particular in how we do things. And then to be able to turn the knobs and work with it a little bit more. It's just been an amazing summer, and now we're ready to get going.
Well, your schedule changes a little bit this year, but not much. Platte County's still on your schedule, even though they move up, but you get Excelsior Springs, who you've seen in the postseason. So it's, there's familiarity there with the new team in your conference, but the conference is looking like it's going to be strong as always. You got teams like Raytown South and Grandview who are in second years of new head coaches who are that are definitely going to improve. And,
agree.
A Ruskin team that's probably bringing back and has bigger numbers than they've ever had. So there's the beauty of your schedule is you don't have to worry about 5 weeks down the line. You can just focus on what's right in front of you. True.
We start out, we were right out the gate with Raytown, Platte, and Kearney right out the gate. So if you're not awake and you're not ready to go, it's going to be loud. But I think that's good too. You know what? I think challenges are what you make them. And that's a big challenge for us coming out the gate. And like you said, we've got a lot of really good coaches in our league. With Will down at Ruskin and what he's doing, and Dan and those guys at Will at Ray South. They're doing a really good job. They got their numbers up. They got kids participating. They got kids working in the off season, doing a lot of things different. Plus just the regular good programs that we have. And those guys have so many great athletes. I talk to our kids all the time. And part of that lesson is, we've got our work cut out for us, because week in and week out, if we play well, we have a chance to win every game we play. If we don't play well, we'll lose every game we play. So it's important. And I just talked to them. We got to admire talent. We've got to learn to respect hard work and the things that you can do to get stronger and really be a great competitor. But we've got to be tough in everything we do, because everybody we play is going to be tough.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thanks, Dion. Good luck to everybody. Take care.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC, and we are wrapping up the Suburban Blue virtual media day with Winnetonka coach John Crutcher, new Winnetonka coach John Crutcher, formerly at William Christmas. You've been a defensive coordinator at Park Hill and at Staley recently, and one of the more respected defensive coordinators in the Metro. So I'm sure there's some guys who are happy that you were on the schedule as a defensive coordinator last year. Happy you're over at Winnetonka now, and that you don't see them like a Suburban Silver or Suburban Red. But congratulations on the new job, Coach. I know you're excited. Winnetonka has had, some good runs over the years. Coach Palmer had done a good job, and before him, Coach Edwards. And there's a good tradition there, and a lot of good, tough, hard-nosed kids. And I'm sure that's what's got you excited about this new opportunity.
Absolutely. And great people to work with, Dr. Tate and Barge and everybody really involved in this, going through the process. They really sold me on Winnetonka. I've, living in the Northland, I know who Winnetonka is, been in Kansas City for as long as I have. It's just been one of those very intriguing programs for me, and then to take over for Benny, who did a tremendous job here, and try to kind of build on to what he started. So, and Sterling, even going back to Sterling and Barge's days, and just kind of continue to build on that.
Yeah. And in the last few years, you've been a member of the North Kansas City School District. You've seen Oak Park and Winnetonka get their own fields. And that's got to, I'm sure you see the pride those kids have now of having that home stadium now that they're in the second year of that.
Absolutely. That was one of the biggest selling points for me is being part of like at Park Hill where you have to share a stadium, and then even here in North Kansas City where we had to share the DAC with Oak Park and stuff like that. To come into a situation where you have your own home was a big selling point for me, and for the money that they put into this little, it's a very unique setting and an awesome setting, and it's something everybody kind of needs to come out and see what they've done for Oak Park and us. It's just a really, really cool setting.
Well, tell me this, how's your first summer been? I know you've been through that transition before as a new coach, so you've got that experience of coming over to a new situation. How's that transition been, and how much work were you able to get done this summer?
The transition was awesome. There's a great group of, there's a big nucleus here of kids that we're going to depend on. The biggest thing for us during the summer is to just get around the kids, let them get to know us get to know them, and then trying to find a coaching staff. This is after doing this one time with William Chrisman. My biggest deal was trying to put a coaching staff together and being patient with it. We all got a lot of friends and stuff like that, but trying to put the right coaches on our staff for these kids. Each situation is different. Being at Staley and being at Winnetonka are two different places. And at times it's two different coaches as well. The kids here at Winnetonka need us a little more than a kid that at Staley really needs us, and trying to find those right fits for our coaching staff and for our kids is what we kind of focused on all summer. My coaching staff will finally be finished here Wednesday. I've got a coach kind of going and doing his onboarding, but I really took my time. Like I said, I was looking for certain qualities in coaches that I think this place needs, and trying to surround these kids with quality coaches has been our main focus, and then trying to get our beliefs into those kids all summer.
What excites you about this team? I know that they graduated some good skill players, but Winnetonka has not had a lack of skill players and just athletes and good football players.
Oh, not at all. Like I said, I think we got a great mix of both. We got good skill kids, and we have some really good, talented offensive, defensive linemen here. I think that's what excites me more. The last couple of years at Staley, for 2 years, we had that O-line, D-line group, and then we kind of ran out of the big bodies and kind of had to make some things happen and put pieces in to fit what we were doing schematically. Now, like I said, we got it on both sides of the ball here. I was going through, we were talking about it today. We finished up summer today with a little scrimmage just in-house for us. And we were going through it, and we've split kids offense and defense. We're going to 2 platoon because we got enough bodies. Even splitting that group, the O-line, D-line group up, we still had 18 offensive linemen. So we've got that good mix of skill kids that we could sprinkle in, and we've got that mix of big kids that can move people. So I think we've got the best of both worlds on both sides of the ball.
What's going to be your, you take a week off and then when you get back at it, what's kind of the focus hitting with the landscape has changed. This isn't kids showing up in August, 2-a-days and that kind of stuff. You've done a lot of stuff already. What's kind of that focus of the next 3 weeks as you kind of get ready for, a jamboree or an inter squad and then ready for that first game?
We took a little different approach this summer. We kind of installing beliefs and worrying more about our culture than necessarily the football part of it. The last 2 weeks is when we've really installed both sides of the ball. So the next 3 weeks going into it, coming August 8th, is be continuing installing our offense and our defense and trying to tailor that to the specific kids we have and building on our 2 packages. We got a game plan going into it with, hey, this is the team that we're going to be. But also there's kids that are showing up, that are, oh, wow, we didn't know you could do that. Okay, so now we can go this way. So really just fine tuning what we're doing offensively and defensively and getting all the special team stuff put in as well.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Dion. It's great to be able to do this with you again. And after an 8-year hiatus, this is awesome. I'm super excited.